Rising in the morning.
There you go. Man, that's a big one you got there. Heck yeah.
You might find me up on the bayou.
You got it, you got it, you got
Over
it.
in the ocean bay. Might be fishing on a mountain stream or a lake down in Tennessee. Might as
Oh, it's two of them.
grab
I got two
your
of them.
fishing pole.
Holy cow, look at
Come and
that.
go along with
What are
me.
these guys?
We going fishing, boy.
Oh, my
He's a
God,
lucky
they're
dog.
There we go, girl.
like that, Jimmy. Hey.
Oh, there he is. There he is. One hit that crankbait. Whoa!
Whoa, you got-
Look at his size. What a way to start. What a way to start. Man, oh, look at the size of that guy. Look at the size of that fish. Good Lance. I'm fishing today with my longtime buddy Joe Hall. We're out here on a really super windy spring day. I'm gonna power pole down right here, Joe. I'm gonna power pole down right here. I mean a really windy spring day. And the reason I'm power poling down is because we're out here in a big grass flat. But by the time I get this fish landed, there's no telling exactly where we would be. But this is a big old giant bass. I mean a big old giant bass. He's got, oh my goodness, look at the size of that fish.
Whoa.
Look at the size. Boy, he just barely hooked. That's that little RC4 square bill crankbait. It doesn't run very deep. He's been eating grass too, I guess, huh?
Jimmy, you did well there.
Look at the size of that bass. Golly, that is a giant, Joe. Holy cow. Wow, that's a big mama. That is a big mama right
You
there.
might want to kiss that one twice.
My, look how thick her tail is. Oh, that's a giant fish. That is a giant, giant bass. My goodness.
There he is.
Oh, yep. Oh, I got one too. Yeah, they're in shallow. They're in real shallow. Been fishing out a little bit deeper. Yep. Mine's a pretty nice fish. Power pole down right here. We got, both of us got a fish on at the same time. Mine's a pretty good chunk. Yours is bigger.
I missed that. I missed that. What was it you said, Jimmy?
I'm gonna do this, Joe, because it's probably we've been Joe Hall. Joe Hall has probably been on Jimmy Houston Outdoors the last. I didn't get it power pole down all the way. I didn't get it all the way down. Oh, maybe I do, because we're not moving, are we? Yeah, I forget I'm in shallow water. Joe Hall has probably been on Jimmy Houston Outdoors more than anybody in the world. He's been on it like for, like.
Except for Chris.
The 40, well, you might, yeah, except for Chris. But for the 40 of the, probably 41 or 42 of the 43 years that we've been on television so far, this is probably the first time ever in all of that period of time that Joe Hall caught a larger fish than me. Out of 40 some odd years. So I just want to get living proof of this. So when he tells his buddies, they'll say, Joe, you lied to me again. Yeah. Let me see your girlfriend. Woo, get back here, baby. Hey, that's pretty cool right there. I told Joe, I said, throw inside that grass line, Joe. He threw in there and he missed one, a really nice one. And so I plowed through the grass and got the boat inside. As soon as we get inside, he gets a bite and gets hooks that one up. And I'm gonna grab mine before I got it in now. Oh, wow. I saw him get it. I saw him get that little RC
Did you
bait.
see him throw right in
It's
front?
another
I was
big
coming
one.
right across that stick. Did
Throw
you
it right in front of Joe. Caught his fish. Power pole down.
You turkey. You turkey.
Big one too, Joe.
You
Another big
turkey.
Another big one.
Had it lined up perfect.
I thought the boat was about to run over it, dude.
Yeah, right.
You didn't throw at it.
I
What are you
don't buy
talking
that
about?
for a second. I don't buy that for a second.
Well, he just barely hooked. I mean, just barely. He did have two hooks in him just a second ago. Now he's only got one. Now it don't matter. I got him.
I don't know about that, Jimmy.
The boat was about to run over that.
I don't think
Joe didn't fish that
I
one solitary stick there. He didn't fish it.
I was coming right across it.
The boat was going to get there before his bait got there.
I think that's
Listen at
unfair.
him whining back there. Listen at him
All
whining.
right. I don't think you're playing by the rules.
That's a beautiful fish right there.
We have to have a discussion
That's
about
a small
the
one
rules.
compared to the last one I caught.
You mean the 10-pounder?
Yeah, 10 pounds. Not quite 10 pounds, but a legitimate 8.
I think I'm going to call foul on that one.
I'll let you count that one, Joe.
Yeah, call foul. No.
That's your girlfriend, but I kissed her. That was your girlfriend, but you count her, but I kissed her. Here's another one right here. Here's another one right here. Right up on the bank. I mean, shallow, shallow, shallow. It's a little bit smaller. I'm using a little 3/8 ounce legend with twin little leaf plates, one gold on the outside, one gold on the outside, and one mantle fish, much smaller.
Oh, nice.
I never felt that fish get that crankbait. This is such an easy crankbait to fish, the RC line of baits, because you just throw them out there and wind them in, and the way they've got them designed, they all run perfectly, and they are fish catching machines. There's no telling how much money Ricky Clun has won on these baits, but they are absolutely incredible. Oh, that fish is hooked too. It's only got one hook in him, but they put
all it takes, isn't it?
Yeah, if you got him hooked right, that's all it takes is one. That's all you got on that spinnerbait. Look at that. I mean, they're just barely, oh man. That's a pretty fish right there. That's a pretty fish. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Had that little lull in the wind.
Here's one. A little. Oh, look at that crappie. It's a crappie. Not a big crappie, but a pretty nice crappie. He hit that bait right on top of the water like a big bass. It's a pretty nice crappie.
That is a nice crappie.
Not a giant, but you know, well over a pound. That's a good eating crappie right there for sure. That's well over a pound. I'm kissing you, not eating you. You should be very thankful. As it swam away, it says,
maybe
thank
I'd
you
rather
very
you
much,
eat
Mr.
me.
Jimmy. Thank you very much.
First cast, Jimmy.
Oh, you picked the square bill up, huh? Now that one you got, I put on your bait's a little bit different. That's an American original. They're biting those things, I'm telling you. Nice sized fish. Seems like we're catching a little bit bigger fish on that than we are spinnerbait today. Yep. Yep, that's a nice fish. He hit it up on top, or are you cranking it?
Just probably turned the crank twice.
Really? He almost hit it up on top then.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
It's a great way to fish these, especially if you fish the ones that are not suspending, but that are very, very buoyant. Most of the square bills are the kinds that float back up to the top. And so you can fish them like this really, really easily. And it's just dynamite action up on top of the water. I remember one time George Cochran won a BASS tournament on Lake Texoma in Oklahoma. And he's running square bills around over the tops of brush piles. And kind of like you'd be fishing a spinnerbait over the top of the brush pile. And the fish would jump out there and grab a hold of that. That's nice, Joe. Kind of like the way we're fishing it now, you know. George, oh, there's one right there. George Cochran was fishing the square bill over the tops of brush piles. And the fish were coming out there and grabbing it, and you could take and throw a worm or a jig or something down those brush piles, and they wasn't biting it. But for some reason, they would jump out and hit those. And he was using a big square bill, like I am with this big RC right here. And you see how big this bait is? This is a big bait. It's an RC2. It's a Series 4. I called it a 4 something earlier, but it's an RC2. But it's a big one. You see what size that is? It's not a small one. Now, Joe's, the American original, is about the same size. I think I put one on about the same. How big is your bait, Joe? Yeah, it's a little bit smaller.
It's slimmer.
It's like the next size down.
It's a little slimmer, too.
Yeah. Not very big, but boy, it was fun to watch eat it. I couldn't even hardly see him. He come up and got it like a little thief in the night. Yeah, like a little thief in the night. Slipped in there under the cover of darkness and grabbed a hold of that bait. Pretty little girl. Pretty little girl. They wanting that baby up on top, aren't they?
Yes.
I got him. Well, those little ones come up and get it, and you can't even hardly tell they got it. I mean, they're not little bad little fish.
No.
A lot of times I'd kind of like to have fish like that, but they just sort of slip up there and it don't even hardly make a swirl on top of the water and getting that thing. A topwater RC2, what I'm talking about.
small one. Now come. I'll be careful because he's got all the hooks running around here.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. You know, they can get that thing in their mouth such a way that you can't get your hand in their mouth.
I'll tell you
So
what,
I
if I
have to
get
belly
one that's
land
like that, Jimmy, when I do us a favor, just unhook him for me.
Yeah, I'll do that, Joe. Not a problem, man. If I'm not busy doing something else, I'll unhook them for you. Not a problem. Now, a lot of the times I'm going to be busy doing something else, but, you know, you just have to wait. Yeah, that was a big one. That was beautiful there. He come up and ate that. He ate that pretty much sitting dead still. Not a giant. He's not near as big as I thought he was. You got one?
Nope.
No, you had mine.
I had yours.
It's just a little one.
That's exactly what I had.
A little one. He's not too little.
Tried to take your fish away from you and couldn't.
See, he missed it. He totally missed it. See this? He's hooked down underneath. Not even close to his mouth. He hit that bait and that back hook got him. Now this is kind of a bad deal on a fish because he could have a gill plate there and you take the hooks out, he could start bleeding. And he's got all 3 trebles in him. I'm going to try to remove them as gently as I can. Have to take all 3 trebles out like one at a time and try to do that. That'll get the hooks. 2, 3, and then the back hook gets him. Now he's not bleeding as pretty as he can be. Oh, beautiful. Little one, but beautiful. Not very big, but he gave me a big thrill on the strike. Well, we're back out here in the wind. We've been back in them pockets and coves, and back out here fighting the wind a little bit now. I thought the wind had eased off a little bit. I don't like to grab a hold of a bass like that. You don't see me do that very often because you're taking a little slime off the bass. It's not. You got him?
Trouble off, yeah.
It's off. But when they got their hook full of mouth full of hooks like that, you have to do it.
You got him? Now you got him.
He got away when he got on my trolling motor.
Got on the trolling motor.
Yeah, there wasn't nothing I could do right there.
Not a problem. There he is.
That's a good fish. I saw him come up and get it. That's a pretty strike. I just happened to be looking. I saw the fish caught. I didn't really see your bait there. I didn't see your bait, but I saw the fish. Oh, that's a big one. Good gosh. That's a good one right there.
One more time? One more time?
Well, he ain't 10 pounds, but
Yeah,
caught 4. See that marker down on him there? Attaboy, Joe. That's a good one there, pal.
That's a good one. He took it, didn't
Not the biggest one you caught all day, but pretty close to it. I remember that big one you caught. I'm not forgetting.
Yeah.
I'm not forgetting that big one you caught.
And I tell you what, he wanted this one.
Eat it.
Oh my!
You got some needle nose back here, don't you?
I'm going to have a long needle nose to
You
get
got
this.
some back here?
I think yes. Let me get it. I got some short ones here. I need long ones.
That's not even needle nose you got. Those are split ring pliers, but they'll work.
I mean, we're talking about way down in there. We're talking about the base of his tongue is what we're talking about.
Ah, did you see that one? Golly, that was gorgeous. Ah, they are out here in this deep moss too, Joe. Maybe bigger fish, I don't know. Look at that one. That's a good bass right there. Oh, get in here. Not exactly the best way to land a bass, maybe, but works for me. Bass says works for me too, Jimmy. Oh, don't you get that hook in my hand. You're cold-blooded. You can't feel that. I can. Okay? Just between me and you. That's a nice fish. Yes, sir. Ooh. We're fishing today with an RC square bill crankbait. It's really not a square bill crankbait, it's a square bill topwater bait. Some of the most exciting baits to fish with. In fact, for most bass fishermen, they'll say, oh, the thing I love best is seeing a bass jump up there and grab a big topwater bait on top of the water. Well, personally, I like seeing them run out from under a log or something like that and grab a hold of a spinnerbait or jump up out of the grass and grab a spinnerbait. But topwaters are vitally, they're just absolutely astonishing to fish with. And we're fishing with a crankbait today, but if you get a crankbait that's got a lot of buoyancy, we have crankbaits now that suspend, so in other words, when you stop them, they stay right where they are. And that's really, really good, particularly in colder water, that bait will stay 5 foot, 6 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot deep, wherever you stop it. But these baits that are really wide, like this little RC2 square bill, really wide, and got a wide wobble to them and a lot of buoyancy. You can also fish them as a topwater bait. Anytime you got a lot of places where you got real heavy cover. The heavy cover can be grass like we've been fishing today. It can be wood. It can be rocks, anything like that where you've got heavy cover where you want to give fish something different that they haven't seen. One of the keys to catching bass is to fish with something different. That's why when we come out with these new lures, when we change blades on a spinnerbait where they make a little bit of different noise, or we have a little bit different rattle in a crankbait, or we got a little bit different colors too. We put spike it or something on our worms to make a little bit different color to it. All these things are things that are different. And when you use one of these as opposed to a normal topwater, you've got a difference that the bass do not normally see. So next time you're out there and you think that the bass might be topwater situation, you know, like you get into late May in most of the places in the south, or early May, in fact, most of the places, that they start hitting topwater, try a big square bill, a winter type bait, one that you use in the brush, try that for your topwater bait. You might just be surprised and catch what we caught today.